Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of 60 Formula. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing swell today. It's Tuesday and the sun is shining, the weather is absolutely gorgeous, and the Huskaroni pizzas are trying to see who has the better toppings. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. I'm just going to be talking to you guys, and we're going to be discussing something really important that I think a lot of people are split on in the dog community, especially the Husky community. So I want to talk about those things. It's not going to be long. It's going to be a short video. So if you have a moment, go ahead and sit down. If you got a doggeroni, this is going to be especially interesting to you. And if you have a Husky, you're definitely going to want to listen in. So before I even start, I want to thank the Husky community and everyone who watches these videos. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers. It's blowing my mind a little bit. It's like pudding in my head. It's like leaking out of my face. I just literally can't believe it. Thank you so much. If you come to the channel and you watch regularly, but you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. It helps a lot. And if you want to support the channel, we have merch down below. You can also become a patron on our Patreon. That's all linked down below in the description. Or you can just share the videos. Show them to your friends, show them to your family, make an Instagram or a Facebook account and just share it with the people that you know. That goes so far. And I want to just say we appreciate every little bit. So also, and I've told many of you guys this before, when it gets to 100,000 subscribers, I'm probably going to do a face reveal video where I'm just gonna like show you guys what my face looks like. I mean, I guess I should, right? It's around that time. And I feel like I want to start showing my face because I want to start being in the episodes to show you how to train the Huskies better. It's way easier to be in front of the camera and show you exactly how to do it. So I feel like I've hidden my face for enough time. Maybe after 100,000 subscribers, once we reach that milestone, you guys will get my face. All right, now that I got that out of the way, that shameless plug, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about. So when it comes to our dogs, probably the number one most important thing that we think about when it comes to their health and their well-being is food. We're always talking about what's the best food to give to our dogs. Like, what should I be feeding them? What food is like top notch so that I'm making sure my dog can live as long as they can live as healthy as they can live. And I think we get so deep into this question, we get so obsessed with it, that the community has created these weird stigmas about what you should be feeding your dog. Like, they're like these guidelines, but they're not necessarily true. They're just mostly people's opinion. And honestly, I'm just gonna tell you guys straightforward my opinion, and maybe that'll help you guys understand a little bit better, trying to make a decision on something. I do all my research and make the best decision I can. The least extreme, the least radical, the most well-rounded decision. So a lot of you ask me, first of all, what is the best food for Siberian Huskies? What should I be feeding my Siberian Husky? The answer to that question always varies, whether it's a puppy or an adult Husky or a senior dog. It mostly depends on the age of your dog, but it can depend on a lot of other factors too. Your dog can have allergies to things, so all of these things need to be taken into consideration, and it's almost impossible for me to tell you guys exactly what the best food is. But another question that I get asked a lot is, yo, 60, how come you stopped feeding your dogs a raw diet? I thought that was like the number one best diet for Huskies. If you're feeding them raw food, it's gonna make them way healthier. We've heard the spiel, everyone's saying the raw food, the barf diet, it's the best way, the healthiest way, the most nutritious way to feed a dog, especially a Siberian Husky. Now, for a while, I did do a lot of research and I full-heartedly believed this. I was like, look, these are Siberian Huskies, so they're just a little bit more, I'm not gonna say wild, but they're just a little bit less domesticated than, say, a Chihuahua. So I figured maybe a raw diet was definitely the way to go. But quickly after I started the raw diet, both of my dogs kind of got really sick. And I know a lot of people say they have to get sick first because it's them flushing the toxins out of their system. They're not going to feel good at first. It wasn't just they didn't feel good at first. They continued to not feel good to the point where they literally looked at the food and refused to eat it. Like, they would not eat raw food anymore. They were like, bro, no. So I took them to the vet. I was like, what's going on? They were like, dude, stop feeding your dogs raw food. Look, we know it's a trend. People think it's healthy. People think it's good for your dogs. Just stop doing it. The truth is that you're opening them up to a whole bunch of crazy bacterias and diseases that might be living on these raw foods. So I took my dogs home, and me being me, I didn't think that what the vet said was concrete. I know that vets get paid to sell dog food, so of course they're gonna want me to put my dogs on kibble, especially one that they want to recommend to me. And I decided to just do a little bit more research. I'm like, okay, I really gotta figure out what's going on. When did dogs start eating kibble? What were they eating before they started eating kibble? I was just like, what are the answers to these questions? Because if I knew the answers to these questions, I'd feel a whole lot better about what I'm feeding them. So that's when I started doing the research, and I'm gonna tell you what I figured out. So for the most part, kibble was created and mass produced in the late 1800s, early 1900s. This is basically when people started feeding their dogs kibbles, and mostly it was biscuits, okay? And there was very little to no nutritional value in the kibble or the biscuits. It was something that people got for their dogs as a food supplement. Now, as time has gone on, as the pet industry has gotten much bigger over the years, over the century, companies have created dog food that is filled with so many different things that when your dog eats it, they actually get a balanced diet. It's actually not just carbohydrates and salt. It's filled with vegetables and meats and grains and other things like that. So is a kibble a perfect food? Absolutely not. But it has come a long way since it was created. Now, what did dogs eat before they ate kibble? I was looking into this everywhere. I was so curious. I'm like, okay, before we had kibble, what in the world were dogs eating? Get this. Dogs ate whatever people gave them. Literally. Just whatever they were given. Most of the time, if it was a dog owned by a poor person or someone who lived in less fortunate conditions, that dog ate, biscuits, crackers, mostly scraps that were thrown out by the family. But if the animal was owned by someone who was rich, an aristocrat, that dog was fed beef stew, meats, vegetables, real foods that the owners ate themselves. Now, what's really interesting about this and what shocks me as funny is that today, everyone's always like, oh my goodness, if you feed your dog any human food, they are sure to perish immediately. But according to history, we've only been feeding dogs kibble for about 100 years compared to how long humans have been domesticating and living with animals, feeding them whatever they made themselves for thousands of years. Let me just repeat this so you guys understand.
Thousands of years.
Dogs have been domesticated for thousands and thousands of years. Thousands of years. I don't know if you know what that number is. I'm pretty sure they teach it in math. It means it's a lot. So that means two things. Number one, dogs have been eating whatever we make and provide for them, just random scraps of food, whatever we cook, whatever we make, for thousands of years. But not only that, we've been domesticating dogs for so long that whatever people think that they originally ate for their diet in the wild no longer even applies to them because they're a completely different animal at this point. Thousands of years of domestication, thousands and thousands of years of eating different foods provided by different people. That's a different animal. That animal no longer depends on raw meat or bone or organ. These animals depend on whatever they are given, and they are so versatile that they literally for a long time survived off of basically nothing. So here's the real deal. Here's what I want to say. Is feeding your Siberian Husky the raw diet the best thing to feed them? Not in my opinion. Siberian Huskies today are not wild animals. Siberian Huskies 2,000 years ago were not wild animals. They're domesticated dogs at this point. Even ancestors from thousands of years ago did not have a full raw diet. So what's funny is in my research, what I basically found out is that the thing that dogs are most used to eating is whatever you feed them and cook for them. They have an ironclad stomach that has been over thousands of years been getting used to eating the foods of the people around them. Now, I know tons of people say, kibble is terrible. There's all these recalls. There's all these bad things. This kibble killed this dog. There has been cases out there where dog food has made dogs sick. I'm not arguing or refuting this at all. But when you compare it to the amount of cases and recalls of human food, it doesn't even come close. My point is that because the pet industry is getting much bigger, and because there are so many more people who care about what their dogs are eating, recalls are likely to happen more and more often, just as they do with people in the human world. It doesn't mean that that company is bad or that they should go out of business. It just means that they need to fix whatever ingredients they're using at the time and switch it up with something new, something healthier, and something that's not currently being recalled. So I'll just wrap this up with saying the best thing to feed your Siberian Husky, in my opinion, is a dog food of your choice, whether it be wet food or dry food. What we do is we mix it up. I feed my Husky a rotation diet, so we do different kibbles at different times throughout the year, and we also throw in different wet foods in there. Now, if you are very, very passionate about feeding your Husky or your dog a raw food diet, that is completely fine. I'm not saying it's bad for them. I'm just saying the risks are higher, and you need to be much more responsible when you're feeding a raw food diet. Now, I don't think they're necessary. I don't think that because you have a Husky, you have to have a raw food diet, and I don't think that it is the best diet for dogs. So that's my opinion on it. I suggest trying new things, introducing them to your dog slowly. If you have a puppy, stick with one food, but if you have an adult, you want to try some new foods, go ahead, try new stuff. We definitely encourage it. We always encourage you to do your research, especially when you want to know something about dog food or something pertaining to your dog's health. Do as much research as you can. When you find out something, don't immediately believe it. Compare it to what you read at other places, and if you hear the same information or similar stories, then maybe you want to come to that conclusion. I had a blast talking to you guys today, telling you about what I think about dog food, pet food overall. I think there's a lot of hype about it, a lot of people who freak out about it, people who are like, the kibble industry is so bad and dangerous. But honestly, I think our pets are safe. Keep an eye out for recalls. Make sure you're doing research on the food you're eating. Pay attention to the nutrition facts. I love you guys. I can't wait till we get to 100K. It's gonna be crazy. I got another video coming out, I think tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm gonna get it out for you as soon as possible. This was kind of just me talking. I wanted to talk to you guys about this. It's important. I know you're passionate about your Huskies and you want to know what to feed them. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. If you want to debate or, say that I'm wrong, that's totally fair too. You all have your own opinion and that's totally fine. So just go ahead and share them down in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing from you. Until next time, we will see you with another episode of Guess What? Whatever we make. Peace.